Yeah, remember the Ministry of Truth? With the Ministry of Truth is back with us here, or it never really went away. I'll tell you what, not having the broadcast live, Alabama was looking for that last night. They wish the game could be not broadcast until next year when they get another chance. Anyway, Pat Buchanan is joining us now, former presidential candidate, aide to various Republican candidates for president, author of many great books, including Nixon's White House Wars. Pat, you knew Spiro Agnew, and he was always talking about the nattering nabobs of negativity or negativism. I mean, he had no idea what was coming. These people are worse than the nattering nabobs, aren't they?
It's astonishing. I was watching or listening this morning to some discussion. Should we allow Donald Trump to talk to the American people when we know he's going to lie and we can't answer it? They want real time to contradict him as he's talking. You know what this is? This bespeaks a terrible fear in the hearts and minds of the elites that the President of the United States, given free time to talk to the country, might persuade the people that the wall is a good idea.
Exactly. And the thing is, too, Pat, I mean, we've all got these sound cuts. I just posted my column on the Boston Herald. The Democrats, all the national Democrats have been saying the same thing about the walls and illegal aliens that he's going to say tonight. And now they're saying everything he's going to say is a lie, but they've all said it themselves. It's crazy.
Exactly. I mean, and it's transparent, and there's no doubt about it. If you sit down, if the president sits down, talks clearly, what is happening to our country, the alterations that are being made, the criminals who are coming in, the fact that our laws are being broken, and, in fact, we've got tremendous social problems as a consequence of this, the vast majority of the American people are going to say, that's right, we got to stop it, and it is the duty of the government to do that. I think the president, though, he's got to win this battle. This is the preeminent battle, I think, really of our time politically. Certainly it was the battle, I think, that got Donald Trump put into the White House.
Yeah, I know. I agree. And you're right. The hysteria with which they're reacting is an indication of just how important it is and how much they think he's got the facts on his side. You saw the poll, Pat. Only 7% of the American people said illegal immigration is not a serious problem. So, I mean, it's, even the vast majority of Democrats know that there's a big problem out there. And the the national Democrat solution is more of the same.
Exactly. What the Democrats don't appreciate, I don't think, is, look, border security is one of the biggest issues in the Western world, and it is one of the biggest, if not the biggest right now, for the United States. Americans care more about what's going on our southern border, how it's going to affect the destiny of our country, than they do about who's on the border of Iraq and Syria. And I think if the Democrats get themselves on the wrong side of the border security issue to the point where the president and his folks can say they really don't care about what's happening to our country, they really don't care about an invasion of our country, they really don't care about the place we grew up in and we want to protect and preserve. I think the Democrats, they're in a hellish position, I think, on the broad issue of what this is all about.
Pat, do you think it's more that they want to keep bringing these people into the country, or is it just that they want to deny Donald Trump the victory?
I think they want to defeat Trump. They want to rub his nose in the fact that he does not get a wall, or they don't give it to him. They're adamant about that. We're not going to give him what he wants. But I also think they realize that, look, you bring more and more folks, poor folks, third world folks into this country, don't speak the language, have to have menial jobs, and have to work very hard. They're going to vote, when they come in here, they're going to vote Democratic. And they're going to tilt the country, as the country has been tilted, more and more to advocates of the welfare state. I mean, you don't find many folks, holding a duffel bag over their head coming across the Rio Grande who are going to be interested in the capital gains tax cuts. Right. So these folks, I think they're remaking America overall, and I think once remade, they think they're going to own it the way they sort of own California politically, and they almost own New England politically.
Yeah, but it's not going to work out well long term. as you and I know, just from reading history. This is not this is going to be a disaster for the United States of America if they succeed. And
that's what in a couple of the books I wrote. One of the subheads was "Suicide of a Superpower." That if you don't get control of your borders, that eventually the country's going to be totally remade. And I'm not sure that, given the incredible diversity of race, creed, color, ideology, politics, everything, and every country coming in here at such weight and such strength, what exactly we have in common that holds this country together. I mean, my view is that, you got what happened in a way in Yugoslavia. Of course, it was violent, but it sort of just broke apart and splintered along ethnic and also linguistic lines, and it all broke apart. And all the countries all over the world seem to be having tremendous difficulties with the kind of diversity that we celebrate and we're reaching for.
Right. Well, Lebanon's another example. Iraq. It's religious differences. Even Northern Ireland. It's a homogenous population is more likely to get along than a population that is quote unquote diverse. They can talk all they want about celebrating diversity, but it hasn't worked out historically in most countries.
No, the one case it did work is for America when we had the great immigration between 1890 and 1920, but we cut it off. And those kids were put into public schools. They were taught the English language. They didn't learn in their own language. They shared the same radio, eventually the same TV, the same experiences. And by 1960, 97% of all American people here spoke English. We had become one country. But it takes time to assimilate millions and millions of people. We did it once, but these folks are now they're not coming from the same Western civilization. They're coming from many of them from the third world, the second world, Asia, Africa, the Middle East, all over, and different languages, as I said. And you're taking a terrible risk with the unity and cohesion of your country.
And how about just the general drift of the Democrats to the left? Did you see de Blasio today says that they're going to pay, the city of New York is going to pay for the health care of everybody in the city? And they're going, how much money have you set aside? And he says, $100 million. That's like $100 million. I just broke my elbow, Pat, and it cost me like $30,000
to get in the game.
$100 million. That's like $100 for every homeless person and illegal alien in the city for a year. Who are these people are insane.
I tell you, those guys on Wall Street are going to be like boat people in the South China Sea.
Who was the guy in New Jersey? Tepper? You remember Tepper? Yeah, this guy Tepper was a hedge fund guy in New Jersey. Pat, remember? And they said we're going to raise taxes, and he said, "Okay, I'm moving to Miami Beach." They lost $50 million, and one guy moves out of the town. What do they think? These people are going to just stick around and be scalped?
Mr. Ocasio-Lopez, they're going to get that. She's going to take that federal tax up to 70%. You add in the state and city in New York, and you're up to about 82%.
Right.
There's none of the old deductions that used to be there.
Yeah, and she says, "I'm tired of being judged factually. What about being judged morally?" Wow. It's really something, Pat. It's I don't know.
It's just not, as I wrote this morning, it's just, the Democratic Party we grew up with, the party of Lyndon Johnson, Jack Kennedy, Scoop Jackson, and all these folks, Mayor Daley, and all these interesting characters. And this party is so far away from that. It's just almost unrecognizable in terms of what we had culturally, socially, morally, every single way. And I just the idea that that diversity, the fundamental idea is the fewer white males around, the better this country's going to be.
Yeah, I don't know what Joe Biden is thinking of that he can get nominated for president. I don't see it happening anymore on the Democratic side.
You know, he's down. I understand he's running first, about 33% of the polls. But you're right. What's going to happen? He's going to get out there, and they're going to say, "Didn't you conduct the hearings of Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas? Didn't you vote for Dick Cheney's war back there in 2003?" And they start beating him up and working on him because he's the front runner. And I think, he hasn't won. He's been in this tournament twice before.
I know.
And he got out and he was gone by the semifinals.
Yeah, he was. He was taking
one. He's been in this tournament twice before.
I know.
And he got out and he was gone by the semifinals.
Yeah, he was. He was taken out by a videotape in 1988. Yeah, remember that? The Dukakis.
Which one was that now?
That was the one with the Welsh coal miner speech. You know, he came out of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm the first man in 1,000 years.
Right.
To have gone to college in the Biden family.
Yeah, I don't see it happening. Hey, Pat, I got to get your address. I don't know if they've gotten it yet. I want to send you a copy of my new book, Kennedy Babylon, Volume 2. I think you'll like it. It's got a chapter on.
I think I gave him the address.
Okay, that's great.
Before we went on the air.
We'll get it to you. I got a chapter in there on Nixon on the Kennedys. You'll like that one too. And also Ted Kennedy and the Immigration Reform Act of 1965, which is basically the genesis of all we've been talking about and where we find ourselves now. I know.
Yeah, it's where it all began, and folks didn't realize the consequences. You know, it's not even mentioned, I don't think, in LBJ's memoir, and though that was one of the most consequential acts that he did during his presidency.
Yeah, he said it wouldn't change the country at all. I use that quote in the book. It's
Kennedy's got these people are lying that say things like that. This is hateful.
Right.
It's not going to change the nation. I wrote a book on one on immigration alone. State of emergency. It's got all those quotes in there by Kennedy.
Yeah.
But really, they were unaware. And frankly, I was out in St. Louis writing editorials, and in those days, I was very pro-immigration. And I don't recall even writing on it, or if I did, it would have been positive.
Yeah, no, I'll read some quotes when we come back. But Pat, thanks for being with us. And the title of your new book is Nixon's White House Wars. And thanks for being with us again. Always a pleasure. I'm Howie Carr.
If you change the state.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more live breaking news coverage, exclusive interviews, and videos from Newsmax TV, click subscribe on our YouTube channel, and don't forget to download the free Newsmax TV app for alerts. Newsmax TV, it's real news for real people.